So we're going to work through one practice example with this. And our practice example says the recommended weight of an adult male can be approximated by the formula W is equal to 5.5 H minus 220, where where W is weight in pounds and H is height in inches. So the first question that they're going to ask is, what is a practical domain for this? And remember that the domain is our input, and here our input would be H. And practical is like, what is a reasonable input for this? Because obviously we're not going to have a negative height. That would be impossible. And as far as that goes, a reasonable input would be, how many people do you know that are 20 inches tall? Or how many people do you know that are 200 inches tall? No, like what is a good average or a good range of height that we could use here? To me, I would say that a reasonable height would be between 60 to 80 inches. Because, that's between 5 to 7 feet. That puts us between 5 to 7 feet, sorry, yeah. And so now, with that, I'm going to put my domain, my height, into this, and I'm going to go like every 4 inches. So 60, 64, 68, 72, 76, and 80. So those are all my inputs that I'm going to check, and now I need to find what would the weight of those be. I'm going to rewrite our formula up there. So now we need to check we need to check these, and so we can put our answers in there. And so for the first one, 5.5 times 60 is minus 220. So 5.5 times 60, that will give us 330 minus 220 is going to equal 110. So this one should be 110 down here. Now 64, we got to do the same thing. You go 5.5 times 64 minus 220. And I don't care if you can plug this into your calculator or whatever you can do. I want you to write them out, because that gives you good practice, good problem solving skills, so that you get the routine down of how to do this. So I want them all written down like this on your papers, okay? 5.5 times 64 minus 220, that's going to give us 132. I want you guys to take a few minutes and figure out what the rest of them are going to be. So now hopefully you figured out the rest of your table, and it should look similar to mine or the exact same as mine. And so the next step is going to be to plot these points. I have my graph here with weight being on my y-axis and height being on my x-axis, because height is my domain, it's my input, it's my x value. So I'm going to plot these points up here. 60 is 110. Ooh. 64 is 132. 68 is 154. Plotted all my points, and now we're going to connect these points. So you're going to use a straight edge again. So you should have that graph. And now I want to write an equation to determine the height of a man whose recommended weight is 165 pounds. So our original equation was W is equal to 5.5 H minus 220. And I want my equation to be what is the height of a man whose recommended weight is 165. So now I want to know, I want to solve this graphically. So we already have our graph. So all we have to do is we have to figure out where is 165 on our weight range, and then what does that correspond to with height? It's right about there, and then when I draw my line down, mine's going to approximately be at 70 inches. So graphically, I would say that he should be 70 inches tall. So h should equal 70. And now, just to prove that your graph does work if you draw it accurately, let's figure it out. Let's put 70 in there. 5.5 times 70 minus 220. And hopefully, we want that to equal 165. So, if you do this, 5.5 times 70, subtract 220. Look at that, you do get 165 is equal to 165. Okay, so now you guys have a few homework problems to do. It's only 1 through 4, and you don't have to do all the parts, so good luck.